Hey and welcome everybody to this little breakdown of the music I did for the short film Catching Up, written and directed by Alana James. Let's go straight to the project and see what I did. So this is the first part of the music. It's the introduction and the establishment. Just like in a real movie, I wanted there to be this fading into the world of catching up and this camera shot of going into a house and establishing what's going on inside. That's the same I did here with the piano in the beginning and then fading into the ambience of the coffee shop where the story takes place, as well as just some ambient piano notes reminding us that there still is music and that we're still in a movie. The chords and melody are quite simple. It begins with just B flat major and F major and a melody in G minor, with also some C sus4 E flat major sprinkled in later. Yeah, the piano patch is quite interesting. It's one that I built myself. It's a mixture between Noir from Native Instruments, the pool piano from Spitfire Audio, and a Rhodes sample from Piano Book. Let's listen to the tracks separately. Let's start with the Noir. That's, I would say, the main sound of the piano. Then there's the Rhodes, giving some Rhodes texture because I just love the warmth that a Rhodes sounds give. And the pool piano is there an octave higher, just giving some texture and attack to the patch. It's the double tape piano, and it has this really nice lo-fi and an organic sounding attack. Now let's take a look at the second part of the music. This is the second part of the music. It's starting in the dialogue and then going until the end of the movie. It helps telling the story and the arc of the dialogue, and it's basically the underscore for the people watching scene. The chord progression is based on this lament bass that I have here, which is not quite lament bass in the second turnaround. Chords are quite simple. It's G minor, F6, E flat major 7 and D minor, and then a B flat major 7 in the second repetition. Some interesting production choices I did here is, for example, the sub bass that comes in. It's quite subtle, but I love just having this bit of energy and punch to everything, giving everything more seriousness as well as more warmth. Then these guitars coming in here, also from Native Instruments. Of course, the little celesta to keep it in a bit this dreamy world. I love playing around in the score in general with this feeling of being kind of in reality but kind of in a dream, which I always love when movies do that. Is when I can fully immerse in a movie and feel like it's my life being told now. So that's what I did here with also fading in and out the ambience. It's like, okay, we start in a movie, then we go into the real world, but when you really get into the story, the ambience fades out and you just go into this film mode again where you can fully immerse yourself with the music, with the scenery, with the dialogue. And the dialogue that Alana wrote is so beautiful anyways and so powerful that I just wanted the music to help with that. Also building up here are some arps that give the thing this more upbeat feeling, while it's in general quite melancholic, but we wanted to play around with this duality of being not too melancholic but also not too upbeat. So I tried to merge the two into this still emotional but not too painting, not too showing emotion. So these are the arps. Again, in the context, they're quite low, but they really help on their own to kind of make this thing more playful, which again, people watching in the end is just a game that people play, but it has a lot more meaning to Jane and Marie in this story. I also put in this organ, which again is really subtle, but adds a lot in my opinion. As you can see here, they're both modeled after organs from Pink Floyd's Time and Us and Them, which Us and Them is just a masterpiece in my opinion. It's one of my favorite ever Pink Floyd songs. So I always love when I can put something of that into my music as well. Then here comes something different. The whole piece before was again with a different bass line and chord progression, but still centered around the main melody that was also played in the beginning. This really intimate, simple, just piano melody. But now there's something different. It's the climax of the movie, it's the climax of the music, and there's something quite important happening in the story. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's quite an intense moment in the story, so I wanted to color this and highlight it by adding new instruments that we haven't heard before. You can see flute, English horn, and French horns, and some synth that just double. So new colors and also a new melody that we haven't heard before, but it's a moment in the story where the music can really open up and embrace what has happened in the film. So I wanted to highlight that. Let's listen to that. Yeah, as you can see in the end, the melody is quite driving, just going up and rising and building energy and tension. But this last chord here, I quickly want to talk about. It's quite interesting, and I had a lot of talk about this chord with the directors and also my friends from the conservatory. The whole piece is again in G natural minor, so also in this whole part, the last chord is always D minor or B flat major 7, which is just an upper structure of D minor. And now we have here this F sharp in the melody, as you saw. And overall, it's a dominant chord now. It's a D dominant 7, so D, F sharp, A, and C natural. But it also has still the flat 9, the F, in here, which is then a D7 sharp 9 if you want. But it's also, if you look closely, it's a D7 with the major and the minor third in there, which I really liked as this quite literal representation of the two characters going against each other and being not quite on the same page with each other. And also I love that it doesn't resolve, it just stops here. It's really reminiscent of the story if you want to take it literal, and you have this arc and their talk, and you don't know what's gonna happen. It's an open ending, but I wanted to have this longing feel that the characters also feel in the last chord, which is this. I find it perfectly fitting, but let me know what you think about it. It's quite controversial in my friend group, to be honest with you guys. And now let's talk about the third and final part, the credits. So, harmonically and melodically, the credits is the exact same as the beginning. It's the same chords, same melody, and I like this. But what's different is that for once it's far slower paced. In the beginning you have this 16th feel in the accompaniment, but now you just have like whole bars, whole chords being played, and it really helps slow down the movie and the music as well. And it's also, if you take a look at it, a bit more split up. In the beginning you had this merge of piano and Rhodes. And now you have the piano and Rhodes playing separate parts. The piano is playing the basic chords, and the Rhodes is playing the melody and some of the pedal notes. I really like this picture when also talking about the movie, that it's about separation. It's a couple that has split up and is meeting again. So I like that here this is also represented in this splitting up of the chords and the music in general. But they still play together, they still work together, and they add on to each other to make a bigger image, which this is the whole movie in a nutshell. So yeah, I really like this image, and I liked to keep this really intimate setting of the solo piano in the beginning and just adding a tiny bit more for the credits, to show how the characters develop throughout the story. I also added this tiny zebra patch in the back, which just helps add a bit to the piano. So this was my breakdown of the music I did for the short film Catching Up. I hope you enjoyed it. A huge shout out to the team that made this movie possible. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to work with everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hope to hear from you soon.